SCP-2686 is called the Moon Wizard. This one is by SCP Exposed. Make sure to subscribe to SCP Exposed. Subscribe to me if you like reaction videos too, and let's see what this Moon Wizard's all about.
Billy opened his eyes and immediately closed them again.
Okay.
The early morning sunlight shining through his bedroom window was too much for his eyes to handle. He lay there snuggled under his bed covers, thinking about whether or not he should go back to sleep when he suddenly remembered it was his birthday.
Oh, snap!
He threw off his covers, jumped out of bed, and ran downstairs.
Let's go get the gifts and the cake.
Mom! He burst into the kitchen.
Soda, whatever
Happy
you
birthday,
drink.
Billy! He grinned at his mom, dad, and sister, Francesca.
This is so wholesome.
Come, open your presents. They
Heck
all went
yeah,
through to the
bro,
lounge as they always did when it was one of their birthdays.
Bro, I like
Billy sat on the sofa in pride of place and watched as his mom put down a huge pile of presents. He was so excited, he began ripping off the wrapping paper as his mom handed him his presents one at a time. Thanks, Mom, it's just what I wanted, Billy said as he looked at his new sweatshirt. You're very welcome, Billy. When Billy had finished opening all of his presents, his dad turned to him. Oh, I almost forgot. We have one more present for you. His dad pulled out a huge box from behind the sofa. Billy's eyes lit up into light. He wondered what it could be. When he tore off the paper, he gave a scream of delight. Oh my God, I can't believe it. You got me a telescope.
Ooh.
Billy had always dreamed of owning his own telescope. Now his wish had come true. That evening, once it was dark, Billy set up his telescope in front of his bedroom window. He looked through it, turning it this way and that. He was amazed by how clear he could see the stars. Next, he turned it onto the moon, but when the moon came into focus, Billy jumped back in surprise. He looked back into the telescope to see if he had really seen what he had thought. Sure enough, it was still there. You could see an old man walking on the surface of the moon. He looked at least 70 years old. He was wearing a blue-green robe and had on a gray nightcap.
But he
held a piece of wood in one hand and was using it to walk with. Billy ran downstairs and told his parents what he had seen.
It's not hard to
There's a man living on the moon. Both his parents laughed. Oh, Billy, you and your imagination. It's true. Come and see for yourselves. But when Billy's parents looked through the telescope, they couldn't see anyone at all. Billy looked again, but the old man had vanished. He tried to persuade his parents that he had really seen an old man.
Billy, you had too much root beer. Go
him.
to sleep.
He knew who would believe him, though. His science teacher at school. Billy's teacher was an astronomy lover, too. They often sat together and chatted about the universe and all its mysteries. The following day, Billy went straight to find Mr. Taylor, the science teacher. He excitedly told him all about what he had seen through his telescope the night before. Wow. Well, that certainly does sound interesting, Billy.
Yeah.
You should come to my house tonight and I will let you look through my telescope. Then you'll see it for yourself. As soon as it got dark, Billy sat in front of his telescope. He felt nervous to take his first look at the moon. But as soon as he put his eye to the scope, he could see the man clear as day. He watched as the man walked across the surface of the moon. The sound of the doorbell took Billy's attention away from the telescope.
That must be Mr. Taylor. He's not gonna
Billy ran downstairs and opened the door, but it wasn't Mr. Taylor. Instead, he saw two men in dark suits standing in the doorway. Today we bring you Euclid class subject SCP-2686. But before I go on, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you do, you might be able to spot the man on the moon too. SCP-2686 is an adult male human, estimated to be approximately 75 years of age, currently located within Mare Imbrium on the lunar surface. This location is designated as SCP-2686-1. He is not visibly biologically anomalous, though has claimed in past interviews to possess anomalous capabilities, primarily those generally assigned in Welsh traditions originating in the early Middle Ages as belonging to a magician or wizard. These anomalous abilities include the ability to travel large distances instantaneously, the ability to project energy towards a target, the ability to transform its body at will into the shape of various animals, and several others. None of the abilities have at any point been observed by Foundation personnel. SCP-2686 has to date only been seen to wear a single blue-green robe of coarse wool and a small gray nightcap. He is also known to at all times carry a moderately sized piece of oak wood, which he uses as a walking cane. The entity will respond to most lines of inquiry, but will not answer any questions regarding his origins or nature in a direct manner, instead attempting to change the line of discussion to subjects of religion, mythology, folklore, philosophy, or historical events,
Basically
both
whatever he's
anomalous
interested.
and mundane.
Okay.
The entity acts in a non-hostile manner when interviewed, but will refuse any suggestions by Foundation personnel that he should leave SCP-2686-1.
Okay.
SCP-2686-1 is a spherical area of a radius of 45 meters, located on the lunar surface.
Okay.
The area has been reported by SCP-2686 to possess an atmosphere identical to that of Earth, but this cannot be confirmed due to the nature of the region.
So he doesn't
Objects which enter the area of SCP-2686-1 are immediately transported to the opposite side of the region without interacting with the intervening space.
What?
The area encompassed by SCP-2686-1 contains a large amount of soil and grass, along with various trees, primarily oak and ash, as well as a small residence constructed of a mixture of wood, thatch, and stone. The exact architecture of the structure does not specifically match any styles found on Earth, although the design is in line with what would be required by a single person living in a rural area. SCP-2686 has at several points been observed to produce food from within the structure, including fresh meats and fruits, which could not reasonably have been acquired in the area or stored for the amount of time which SCP-2686-1 has been under observation. When questioned about this, he has claimed that said food was acquired by a cat apparently named Commodore Buckles, which he referred to as his animal companion.
Okay.
This entity has at no time been observed by Foundation personnel or by autonomous observation equipment. Due to its static and distant nature, complete containment of SCP-2686-1 and subsequently SCP-2686 is not at this time feasible. However, as a result of its proximity to Outpost Thoth-1, observation equipment has been located near SCP-2686-1, and personnel are to observe the area for any significant changes in conditions or unusual behavior on the part of SCP-2686.
Interesting.
Additionally, personnel from Outpost Thoth-1 are to travel via assigned rover to the area on a weekly basis in order to evaluate the status of SCP-2686. All images captured of the area by non-Foundation organizations are to be edited in accordance with Security Regulation Document Thoth-1-F. As part of the initial containment, Foundation personnel were tasked with interviewing the entity in an attempt to establish his history. The following interview was conducted by personnel stationed at Outpost Thoth-1, 3 days following the discovery of SCP-2686-1. Hello, sir. Do you mind if I ask your name? I am known as the Great Wizard Niperius, Lord of the Moon and Stars Above, shouted SCP-2686. I see. And could you describe for me how it is you came to reside on the surface of the moon? You dare question me, mortal man?
Oh my gosh.
If you don't want to tell us, that's perfectly all right. Now, moving on. SCP-2686 began speaking at a normal level. Wait, you're giving up just like that? Don't even want to ask me for my ancient wisdom? Maybe seek the secrets of the stars and of your future? Not particularly. Mostly just taking down physical information at this point in time. Now then, if you could provide us with your date and place of birth, SCP-2686 interrupted and began shouting again. How dare you! I will have you know that in my day, I was the greatest wizard of them all. But still, there were too many, and I used my awesome might to transport my home to this distant land, where only the truest of heart could seek my wisdom. I see. And when would you say that this change in location occurred? 2686 once again returned to a normal level of speech. I have lived in this land for nigh on 300 years, growing in power every day. Could you give us more info? The thing is, though, I am a moon wizard after all. Yes, and? That means my power is divined from the light of the moon above, you know?
I see.
Right.
Lunar
and
light.
We are on the moon itself, after all. I see. Where the moonlight is rather below. Indeed. It has been determined that SCP-2686, in its current state, poses no actual threat to the Foundation or its holdings.
Can't do a whole bunch of damage.
But steps should be taken to ensure that it does not leave the surface of the moon.
Right.
What did you think about that SCP?
That's its containment procedures, pretty much. Just keep it confined to the moon so it can't hurt anybody, I suppose. It's kind of a weird SCP, but an interesting one. Guys, SCP Exposed. Make sure to subscribe to him. Subscribe to me if you like reaction videos. Thanks so much for watching. As always, it's Zueljin signing off. We'll see you next time.